Welcome back to the Premier League show. Liverpool beat West Ham on Super Sunday, and Arne thanked the club's fans for their support following their first victory in 4 games. Florian Wirtz impressed at the London Stadium, and speaking on Super Sunday Extra Time, Jamie Carragher compared Wirtz's potential impact to that of Premier League great Kevin De Bruyne, who played in a similar inside midfield position.
Liverpool know they've got a good player. It's just whether he can transfer what he did in Germany to the Premier League. I think that was the first sign of seeing not just a player, let's not forget, just a player for Liverpool. I said when Florian Wirtz came in, I almost seen him as a replacement for Kevin De Bruyne in terms of the Premier League. You know, getting on the ball, causing problems for the opposition. You'd actually look at his passes here against West Ham. Didn't lose possession, often very clever with the ball, but he had penetrating passes, 42 out of 45. Now that's a lot for a player who's supposed to sort of make big passes, key passes to try and put people in. So at times you take chances. But when you look at his season comparison here, you can see the big shift there in the numbers.
If you go back to the previous graphic and the passes, what comes across, and actually what comes across from your analysis there is he's got a freedom, hasn't he, today? You know, they are all over the pitch passes within reason. There was a bit more of a freedom for him today. Would that be fair?
Yeah, but I think it's more about getting him in his role where he's best suited. Now, we can talk about the knock-on effects with other players there, because I don't think when you think about the makeup of the squad, it's probably not really that well balanced. But we've spoken about Florian Wirtz being a number 10, but predominantly he likes the inside left channel. I mentioned Kevin De Bruyne before. When you think of Kevin De Bruyne, where do you think of him? You think of the inside right position. Yeah. You always picture him on the ball in that position. That's where Florian Wirtz needs to play. At times, I actually thought he was going to play wide right today and then come in from the side, as he has done in a few games when he's replaced Mo Salah on that right. But this was better. This is exactly where they want him on the pitch, and this is where, as I said, he's at his best, and that's why today was his best Liverpool performance by far. He's had other good performances, but mainly in Europe. In the Premier League, that was the best we've seen so far.
Well, as you can see, Dave Reed has come and joined us here at the desk. Clinton, just to kick things off.
The man. Okay. The main man.
The main man, yeah? Can't argue with that. A much-needed win for Liverpool, wasn't it? You were at the game. How impressed were you with them and also with Florian Wirtz?
Yeah, I was impressed with Liverpool. I wasn't impressed with West Ham. West Ham basically sat there and basically said, come and beat us. And I was thinking, go and have a go at Liverpool. Have not been in good form. But as I say, massive result for Liverpool. I thought they dominated possession. And you were just thinking, who's going to get that killer goal or that killer pass? And Virtz was outstanding. He was their best player. I think he played in a role which Jamie's alluding to, which is his role. But the thing is with him playing there, you take away from your best player, Dominic Szoboszlai, who had to play on the right-hand side. And he's not natural to do that, Dom, but he's been their best player this season. But I thought Virtz was outstanding. The only thing he was missing was a goal. He had a great chance. I think this is the chance where Gakpo does well and lays it back to him. That is where I think the Kevin De Bruyne comparisons, maybe not for me, but all of this where he picks out passes and is always on the front foot, I thought he was brilliant, but he probably needs to add more goals to his game, which I don't think it's natural for him at the moment. But that little pass to Gakpo and the finish from Isak was brilliant. But I did think Jamie's spot on. That was his best performance. He's been very good in the Champions League, but in the Premier League, that was his best performance. I thought he was outstanding. And everyone makes me laugh when they're saying, oh, he's going to be a rubbish buy. He's a young lad. He's coming to a new country and a harder league, a different league from the Bundesliga. He'll be exceptional. He'll be a good player for Liverpool, I hope. And I wish him well, because the criticism he's got, I can understand because you paid a lot of money, but it's not right. Give him time.
Yeah, I understand what Jamie was saying about the area of the pitch where we think Virtz might be able to do the most damage in that inside right or inside left position. In terms of the comparisons with Kevin De Bruyne, I feel like Kevin De Bruyne was more of a vertical player, dynamic runner. Yeah. And I feel like Virtz is more of a lateral player, playing horizontally between the lines. So that's maybe a slight difference in the type of player that they are. I think, interestingly, yesterday, everybody's talking about his passing accuracy. Yeah. 95%, something like that. And around half of the passes that he made were first touch passes, so immediately playing the ball. So that immediately injects a little bit of tempo into Liverpool's game. And you feel like, in terms of Kevin De Bruyne, he was a real assister, a real goal scorer as well. You feel like maybe Virtz is more of a facilitator, where he'll play the pass before the assist.
Yeah.
That's not to take anything away from his game. It's more, it's not a criticism, it's an observation of what he might be. Obviously, he's still young, loads of time to develop, might well develop into a real goal-scoring threat from midfield. But those were just my sort of observations in terms of his game and how it might develop, and the comparison between him and Kevin De Bruyne.
Talking of sort of goal scoring, how key was it for that man behind you to get off the mark yesterday?
Eyes in the back of my head. So you talk about Isak there for sure.
You can turn around.
No, it's all right. I just know. I can see. It was big for him, to be fair, and he had a good opportunity in the first half where Areola made a fantastic save. You thought it was going in. Didn't have a lot of touches on the ball, which is different to how he was playing at Newcastle. But I thought his movement and his awareness, and this is typical Isak. This didn't look like a person who had not scored a Premier League goal this season. Because let me tell you, it's one of the hardest finish, because it's not along the ground. It bobbles up a bit where Gakpo plays it in, and he controls that half volley side foot finish into the bottom corner. And it had to be something to beat Areola, who had a very good game again, but fully deserved. And I'm happy for him, because obviously big question marks over Isak and the way he handled the transfer situation, and somehow it wasn't right. But he's a fantastic player, and he's a very good striker, and he needed that for his confidence, and Liverpool needed that if they want to have a good season. You can forget about the past. What's happened in the past, you got to look forward now, and that goal for Isak will give him full confidence moving forward.
Yeah, you said about confidence. I just wonder if that will spark something now.
It should do. Still going to be pressure on him, because Ekitike wants to play in that position, and he's been doing well, and the Liverpool fans love him. But I do like Isak. I think Isak's a special player, and now hopefully he can kick on and have a good season for Liverpool.
What about Mo Salah? Obviously, he wasn't in the starting lineup. Do you feel like he's going to come back in midweek, or is this a sign of things to come?
You know what? It's a good question, because sometimes you look at body languages, and actually being there at West Ham. I remember last time when he was on the bench and Jurgen Klopp brought him on, and they had a kind of an argument. But he was fine, Salah. He was encouraging his teammates. He had a smile on his face. Listen, he's not going to be happy he's sitting on the bench. But Slot said after the game, whenever I rest big players, everyone's going to be questioned. Well, it's a bit different, because it's Mo Salah, who never usually gets rested or gets dropped. So it's a big one. And he did say we've got a lot of games coming up. I think he'll probably put him back in for Sunderland. I do think he'll put him back in for Sunderland. And then, and I just think he'll keep rotating that front line. But I think he'll put Salah back in, because they've had a lot of games. I could be wrong, and it would be very surprising if he leaves him out for 2 games. But I do think he'll put him back in.
Feels like a big game, doesn't it? With how well Sunderland
Sunday's a huge game for Liverpool.
What about Arne Slot then? Because he was, of course, under real pressure. Yeah. Jamie Carragher saying last week he's got a week to save his job. Is the weekend going to ease a bit of that pressure?
A little bit, but I still think he needs some results. What have they got? I think they got Sunderland, and then they play Leeds on the weekend. So it's a massive week for them. If they get 9 points out of that, it's a brilliant week. And I'm not saying all is forgotten, and he's not under pressure, but it eases it more. And then we start talking positive about Liverpool instead of Arne Slot maybe losing his job. But he's got some big decisions to make, because when you're the manager of Liverpool, you've got to keep everyone happy. How is he going to keep all these players happy? So, if you bring Salah back in, you're going to have to sacrifice someone else. And who are you going to sacrifice? Szoboszlai played on the right-hand side. You're not dropping him. He's been their best player this season. So, he's got big calls, but I think it's a big week for Liverpool. And, I'm happy that I'm not even a Liverpool fan, but I'm happy. I like the football club, and a lot of my friends are Liverpool fans. So, I hope they do get the 9 points this week.
Always saying the right things to whichever fans it caters for, aren't you?
You've got to be clever in this game. You've got to be clever, don't you? That is why people like Clinton. It's not, apart from maybe, I still say all right things about Aston Villa.
You do. You always do.
I'm professional at my job.
You are.
Thank you.
No one could accuse you of being anything other than professional. Obviously, you mentioned Sunderland this week, Wednesday live on Sky Sports. Regis Labrisse's side, a point ahead of Liverpool in 6th. You think about this game, and you take all the context away, you think it's a winnable game.
Yeah, of course.
But given how well Sunderland are doing, it doesn't almost seem so winnable right now.
No, it's a difficult game. You're thinking, obviously, Liverpool at home, it's a hard place to go to Anfield, but you saw what Forest done, who were brilliant under Sean Dyche when they go there and beat them 3-0. And I feel if Liverpool don't score the first goal, that's when it becomes a problem. And that's when I've seen problems with Liverpool this season. But if they can get off to a good start, coming off to West Ham, result, but they're against a Sunderland team that are dogged and are very good at what they do, and they're defending their numbers, and they've got the experienced players, and they cause problems on the counter attack. It's a hard game, but if Liverpool play like they do, I expect them maybe just to edge this game against Sunderland, and then it would be a confidence booster. But yeah, was that a good answer?
No, it's just the way you went, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Still sitting on the fence.
Yeah, you have to sit on the fence, don't you? You're playing against a good Sunderland team, and Liverpool aren't back, but it was a good result for them from the weekend.
Okay, very well said. Right, and Liverpool against Sunderland is live for you on Sky Sports Football on Wednesday. You can see all the build-up from 6:30.